What's going on, guys? Brendan here. So I'm gonna make a video about today, the SPY crash happening, and kind of what we talked about. I'm gonna reiterate a little thing that we talked about last video. We needed some SPY talks and market breakdowns. I talked in the last video about how the SPY, when these EMAs are so close together, they have a lot better chance of finding like that nice support and not really opening up big gaps for large potential sell-offs like we're happening right now at the SPY. So every time the 50 and 100 get together, you know, they have a lot of support. It's either heavy resistance or heavy support. This teal line is a weekly line. We went over this on Tesla as well. You could quick peek at that chart when I was talking about Tesla having a weekly line, and the way I draw them, it's pretty much once this closes under the teal dreaded line here and really proves weakness, it's pretty much 100% short for me on this weekly trend break. And the SPY, of course, what we're working with today was just that, right? So I was hoping for a bounce here and really starting to get bought up off the 50 EMA. I was going to start looking for some market bounces, but man, this thing just had no chance to recover under lows here, under that trend line break. I mean, to prove weakness here today, it was just I just knew it wasn't recovering. It was game over. It's just one of those things where I use this trend line on the weekly to just really dictate how that whole day is going to go. And I had a couple trend lines drawn out for the uptrend, but like it was in the 280-250s area, which was like right here, which kind of found support all around there, and of course failed again here and kind of came down a little bit more. So that didn't even come true. Just being under this teal line, it's just one of those things where when something like that happens, breaking out of this channel here, and that just it was quite the panic under that teal lower trend line, and that's a weekly line I use for terrible sell-offs when the EMAs start to get stretched like that on the 4-hour too. And we did have some nice breakdowns with that teal line and had a terrible resistance time trying to get back over that teal line, and once it did in the 4-hour chart, she flew. This time when we broke through the teal line, you could see the rollover. If you were to use one of my trend line systems, just popping off a very simple one. I use average, call these better average lines here, and would slice it through the next lower highest wick you'd have it right there in that red interaction. So on a downtrend, I'd use the high and slice it to low. You can also do ones here for bounces off the wicks. So something I teach in one of the part of the programs a lot of my private mentoring students use are these trend line setups, and you can see correlating on the 4-hour how easy these fails were to see today. Like it was just it was it was bread and butter for our guys here. This is the trend line end at the 282.50s area for bounce support. Breaking under the teal, then snapping this right at open. It was good game all day. Terrible. But yeah, I just wanted to go like it's just walking over some of the trend lines here. I did play aapl today. I was not feeling the best yesterday. It was my birthday, so it was a very slow morning for me. Pretty bedridden. I had one trend line for aapl all day today, and the way the market looked, I didn't really have to use too many other ones. I used this guy, this wick, and I had ran it through the lower, this guy through the wick. Yep. Come on, TOS, let go, please. So the pre-market trend lines, a lot of you know now that I do use these. There's certain ways that I do draw them off certain highs, certain lows, and certain setups. I don't teach that to the free public. I got to save a lot of that stuff for the mentoring students and the elite students coming up with all the video lessons on how to correlate these properly, how to use them, what to look for. But this is the trend line I used all day today while I was laying around. Was in short here, took full position off, came back up, just reshorted again for the perfect VWAP fail, called all those in chat, all of them worked out 100%, covered big position, just kind of let it ride, covered up in this chop, because Apple didn't really know what it wanted to do, coming up to the 50, creating lower highs and high lows channels, still looked really weak with the market, so just keeping an eye on that. I was going to wait for my, that 10:30 reversal time, coming to my time, which is back here, so I'm like, okay, no positions. I was laying down, took a nap actually, woke back up, seen it interact with my trend line again. I took it short on the back side of this, failed the VWAP, just a nice downward trend, gap down, covered half my options on the first drop, right about 223.60s, and then I had a nice continuation all the way down, covered the rest down here, didn't want to risk the double bottom, and I took another trade on it on this downtrend right here, just just by how it reacted to the trend line, just how it had another 200 EMA fail here. Came back up, couldn't even get to the 200 EMA, so I knew it's getting weak. SPY wasn't looking the hottest either, so very limited risk to take something up here for how many fails we had and how many tops and all of this this range of resistance here, right? And looks like we're starting to cruise again under the trend line. I mean, just so many opportunities here to take this here. And if you were shorting up here, even for the fourth time I took it today, I mean, the risk was 50 cents, if that. You know, you could easily, you know, take it off up there at about 47 cents instead of breaking over most of the bodies of the highs there in the range. So as it broke down again, just took a nice little short, just watched it slowly nap down, not recover the 50, had a big dump, covered again, shot right back at the VWAP. I mean, I didn't take it anymore the rest of the day. I was getting my day started here, but as you can see, even live right now, it looks like the SPY must be taking its next leg down here, rejection of the 50, and just coming down, pulling Apple with it. So this would have been a pretty easy all-day hold, but with the chop and the way everybody's kind of trying to buy these dips, and you know these stocks are really trying to come back up, but it just isn't happening. So just using that one trend line today, I placed 4 different trades just off that one trend line. You know, being wary and being attentive to where the EMA is run. You know, 200 EMA and the VWAP being the biggest ones. For me, the 50 EMA is under all of the majors, like the 200 and the VWAP and stuff. So I mean, when the 50 is under the VWAP, it's a much more prominent play. You've heard me say that before for shorts, but yeah, I don't know when these guys are going to start bouncing, but the market, the way it's looking right now, it's pretty unhealthy. You know, a lot of tops being put in, and we're just going to have to see how the SPY reacts in terms of where it ends up, right? So the last time we had such a gruesome sell-off, after it snapped this weekly line here, where you know to look for a bounce point would be near impossible for me right now. I don't, you know, you see a ton of support, it just gets blown through. You know, like you had huge support here, just washed, huge support here, just washed, here's, you know, all the way down. We don't know where it's gonna, you know, find its low, and this is getting quite extended on the 4 hour. Even on that 1 minute, I thought, you know, this was a far range to come down in. So really the start of a huge rollover here. So I don't know per se what that's gonna do. Starting obviously the look of this right here, when we had 3 reds in a row, had a pop to the green, failed the 9 and flushed. This thing, you know, fell through the 9, popped back up, failed the 9, flushed. So definitely getting some very familiar feel here on the SPY and on the markets and all the techs here. When we had this major dump, I'm going to have to see how I'm going to retrend a bunch of stuff on the market closes and opens today, and hopefully reevaluate coming up in the next couple days here, see how it goes. But I just want to cover some of that stuff today on the trend lines and what we were looking for in the SPY and how everything was going to be a short play today. I mean, played Facebook today in the open as well. Pretty simple day for short sellers, that if you're looking for setups that require using our trend lines and stuff like that. But yeah, Facebook was a pretty simple pop to short, ran it all the way down. Here's my 4 hour trend line, even using one of my layover trend lines here. If we would extend that to the right, you can see that one worked out a little bit better, a bright yellow one. But you know, perfect bounce right on my trend lines. These are trend lines I've been running for 2-3 days on the 4 hour chart, waiting for the sell-off to come down and bounce there. So you can see a lot of these, they just have continuation for wicks and bounces. You know, again, something I teach to the private dudes. But yeah, you can see perfect bounce on the trend line here, an extension today, but just an easy short, failed 200 rollover. Just watching the market in general, you know, that's that what dictates a lot of the movement and a lot of these tech stocks throughout the day. So just want to cover a little bit on that, and hopefully we can get some better entries and some better stuff going on tomorrow. We'll see if any kind of recovery happens overnight. Doubt it, but we'll see you guys in the morning.